request you to stay on with us because our colleague Yesha Kotak is also now back with us, who in fact was tracking those developments as far as the court is concerned. Yesha, help us understand the arguments that were made and on what basis has the verdict been that there was not enough evidence and Sooraj Pancholi is now not guilty.
So now, in fact, what we see is that inside the courtroom, when this order was being pronounced, it was Sooraj Pancholi was called in to the witness box, wherein the judge said that there is zero possibility of evidences that he is being acquitted. But he's also mentioned before the court, wherein it was mentioned, where the judge happened to mention that Rabia Khan can go in for an appeal against this order to the higher court. In a discussion that was held, it was in fact pinpointed that it was early on the evidences that the investigative agencies should have gathered were not enough to prosecute Sooraj Pancholi, which is where now we see that the court itself believes that Rabia Khan has the appeal against this to the High Court. Like we mentioned, that when this case broke out, following which only after a day or two was when this suicide note was found by the agency. It was subsequently is where the central agency, that is the CBI, was brought in this case, which is where we see that there would have been lapses when it comes to the evidence that were collected. In fact, right when we shared this particular submission of Rabia Khan before the court this morning, which led to the delay in the order, it was also mentioned that she firmly believes that it is a case of murder. There have been subsequent lapses when it comes to DNA samples being collected and other such reasons, which is why the submission was made. But however, right now the order has come in the favor of Sooraj Pancholi.
Yesha, we'll just request you to stay on with us. Going back to Vinaya also. Vinaya, this is a case that dates back to 2013. We're now in 2023. A lot of back and forth has happened. But at the heart of this are the allegations that have been made by Jiah Khan's mother, Rabia Khan, and her other family members who refused to believe that this was a case of suicide. They felt that this was a case of murder. Could you help us with the timeline of the case and essentially the allegations that have been made by Jiah Khan's family?
Well, absolutely. In fact, you're right. It has been a decade-long case in 2013 when Jiah Khan was found dead at her apartment in Juhu. That is when, the family had alleged that this cannot be a case of death by suicide. The family had also alleged, we had seen that Rabia Khan had reached out to the media extensively at that time, claiming that this was a murder by Sooraj Pancholi and that, in fact, he be booked. She had also accused the Maharashtra police of bias in this case. She had claimed that the Maharashtra police, the Mumbai police, were not investigating the case in an unbiased manner, and that is why the case should be transferred to the CBI for an impartial probe. After a lot of back and forth, after a lot of litigation, we had seen that the case was finally handed over to the CBI, which started probing the matter. At several junctures, the family of Jiah Khan, particularly the mother, kept claiming that all the evidence with respect to the case was not being taken into consideration. There was a lot of back and forth. The case went to the High Court as well. From the High Court, it came back to the Sessions Court, where the CBI court was hearing the matter. After a long litigation and after several backs and forths, finally today a verdict has come where the court has said.
So a decade later, the verdict that has come in that there was not enough evidence and thus Sooraj Pancholi has been acquitted. I'll request both our colleagues Yesha and Vinaya to stay on with us. We have activist and lawyer Abha Singh also now joining us on the broadcast. Ma'am, good to have you with us here on CNN News 18. Your first reaction that has come in from the CBI court that was hearing this case, Sooraj Pancholi not guilty.
I'm happy that CBI finally comes out and gives a clean chit to Sooraj Pancholi. They do not find any foul play in the suicide of Jiah Khan. In fact, I would be happy if somebody takes action also on Jiah Khan's mother for trying to take advantage of this suicide, trying to, I would say, malign the Pancholi family, because, this is not the first time. Even Sushant Singh Rajput's suicide, if you see, his father came forward and so many politicians came to get in, to act, to get, I don't know what narrative they wanted to run, that it was a murder. So when it's a suicide, Jiah's was a suicide and Sooraj had no role to play in it, because initially when Maharashtra police said this, Jiah Khan's mother said, no, the police is biased, and then they took it to CBI. But I'm happy that CBI stuck to its ground, investigated it clearly and said that it was a suicide, not murder. So I would like that Bollywood, these media trials should not take place where it's a suicide. Let us stick to suicide, because Sushant Singh Rajput also, I'm hoping that CBI comes and gives a clean chit to Riya Chakravarti and others, saying that, and also which is the who are the people who get advantage or benefit out of running this sort of a case, saying that converting suicide into murder. I mean, that should come out, because you involve so much of taxpayer money loss. First it was Maharashtra police, then it is CBI. There are such major fraud happening in this country, so many major cases, but you involve these prime investigating agencies for Bollywood. I think that is absolute waste of taxpayers' money, and action should be taken on people who are trying to misuse the process of justice.
Abha Singh, you said something very crucial. Why do you believe that there was intention to deliberately try and not work as far as the agencies are concerned? You're saying there was a certain narrative that the families wanted to achieve. Why do you feel so? Because the allegations of the family were pretty serious. They said, we know that our daughter couldn't have died by suicide. It was a murder. She was tortured mentally and physically, and thus we wanted to pursue the case.
You know, the family knows. Did the mother know that the daughter was having mental health issues? With due respect, with all the care and affection for Jiah Khan, and I'm not saying for one person, I'm saying in general, the families in all the cases of suicide have come forward and said, no, somebody else is responsible. See, mental health is a major issue which needs to be looked into. Nobody wants to talk about that, and trying to give it a murder angle, and somewhere then the TRPs also go up and everybody wants to talk about that. I think we need to be saner. We need to respect the law of the land. And in Sushant Singh Rajput, CBI has kept quiet till now, because CBI cannot say it's a murder, and I'm sure, and I'm happy, because it reposes our faith in CBI that it does not come and give false reports. It will not come forward under the pressure of media or politicians to give a wrong report. That is why even in Sushant Singh Rajput, when you had Bihar police coming, you had so many members of parliament coming and saying it's a murder. CBI kept quiet and it went back. It did not bow down to the pressure of the politicians, MPs, and of Bihar government, saying that it was a murder when it was a suicide. So please, I would definitely like that CBI should come strictly on the people who are trying to sabotage the process of law.
But Abha Singh, I just want to understand, considering the fact this case has dragged on for almost a decade, the CBI has entered multiple times, the other investigation teams have also entered multiple times, don't you think the agencies also weren't sure from day one, and that's why they kept reopening the case?
No, it's not like that, because what happens from lower courts, it goes to high court, and then high court again sends it back to the lower court, and the CBI, every time if you see Jiah Khan's mother was coming and saying this letter, this has happened, that happened, and so much of media pressure was there that CBI had to keep quiet at that time. But I'm happy that CBI did not surrender to the media trial. CBI did not surrender to the blackmailing of Jiah Khan's mother, saying that it is suicide, and the laws are so strict.
Sure.
I mean, you destroy lives by saying converting suicide into murder. Riya Chakravarti went behind bars for what reason? The amount of trolling and hatred she received in a case where she was not even living with the Sushant Singh Rajput at that time. So that case is also with CBI. I hope after this judgment, other cases also which are languishing with CBI will come and deliver justice.
Okay, Abha Singh, we leave the conversation there. Appreciate you joining us here on CNN News 18. Let's continue the conversation with our colleagues. Vinaya and Yesha continue to be with us. Vinaya, coming to you first, any initial reactions coming in either from Sooraj Pancholi or Rabia Khan?
Well, Rabia Khan, till just a while ago, in fact, it was Yesha and I who were sitting together when Yesha requested Rabia Khan to speak. She has specifically said that she will not speak before the judgment. Now, after the judgment is out, we are awaiting her first reaction, which we expect after she walks out from the court, she will give. The lawyers will also be speaking. As of now, there is no first reaction. But Sooraj Pancholi clearly, with the kind of statements that he has been making in the last few months in the press as well, will be a relieved person. He has been saying that whatever it is, there should be a trial to this, and the trial should come to an end. There should be a finality to this. So finally, now that the judgment is out and now that there is an acquittal in the case, Sooraj Pancholi clearly will be a relieved person. We expect him, along with his family members, to walk out of the court here and to speak to the media, give his first reaction. But clearly that will be one of relief, especially especially after a case which has gone on for 10 years. And as Abha Singh was also pointing out, there was a lot of back and forth every time the case went ahead. There was an application. The case had to go to the Bombay High Court as well, which then sent it back to the Sessions Court.